y'all better bring it. All right. Next up, we're going to do a quick little training here. And the reason for this is, a lot of people have never done anything like this before where they're building a network. And they say, you might say that, you might think that everybody has done what we do here. And I'm going to frame it up so that everybody feels comfortable and realizes that, you know what, I have done this before. I do it almost every single day. I just don't think about it. So I'm going to give a little bit of insight into this, and I'm going to talk about some mindset things as well. It'll be short, but I did want to go over a few remarks. So just a couple slides on this, and hopefully you'll get some benefit out of this, and it'll click for you. So we're going to talk about mechanics and mindset. So the first thing is the mechanics, the blocking and tackling, if you will, that you see in football. And if y'all didn't know, the Texans won last night. I'm from Houston. I just want to make sure everybody was aware of that. And we beat the Steelers, and we're moving on in the playoffs. I know there might be one or two people that are up in Dallas, and they have a football team too, but I didn't know if they heard. I just want to make that quick announcement. So the blocking and tackling of the mechanics of what we do here is pretty simple. And here's the simple steps of what you can do, rinse and repeat until you reach all your goals. But when you're building a personal network, what you do is you want to first start with a list of people that you know. One of the things I hear so often is, oh, I don't know anybody. Have you ever heard that before? Has anybody ever said that to you before? Have you thought that before? It's amazing that when the time you hit around 18 years old, sociologists have studied this and proved this, you know over 2,000 people by the time you're 18 years old. Now, you might not be able to sit down and have total recall of all 2,000 of those people, but you do know them. What I would suggest that you do is you start with a list and start with whatever feels good. But the goal is to get to a list of 100 people. And I use 100 because it's easy to figure out some batting averages. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So get your list of 100 people. Just write their name down. And as you're going through this, do not prejudge. Do not think anything other than, does this person, can they fog a mirror? And what I mean by that is, are they alive and breathing? And if they are, then they are a candidate, and they are somebody that you should probably talk about God Super PAC to them. And then step 2 here, start a conversation with them. Well, what should I talk about? You might ask them around one of the missions. You might ask them, hey, do you know anybody that has ever suffered from fentanyl? Or do you know anybody that has, you know any veterans? Do you know anybody that's had to deal with sex trafficking? Do you think that we should do a better job of getting the vote out? Any of the missions that we have, any of the things that you want to talk about, start a conversation with them and lead it towards God's Super PAC. And when you do that, your goal is not to explain everything to them. Your goal is to pique their interest. I'll give you an example. If you are sitting in front of a TV and there's advertisements coming up, they're most likely going to be an advertisement. Well, I was going to say for movies, there's things called trailers that they do, and you'll see those every once in a while. And on those trailers, they're not giving you all the movie. They're not giving you all the details. They're doing enough to get your interest to say, I might be interested in watching that. I'll give you another one. It's probably not the best one, but it comes to mind, and that's pharmaceuticals. Do you ever see a commercial about some type of pharmaceutical on the TV? Now, we can debate, how good of a thing that is or not, but one thing I can tell you is it's effective, or they would not be doing it. And when they do that, what do? Do they explain every single thing to you, or do they say, get with your doctor and get more information about Skyrizi or whatever the heck it is that they're talking about? And then in the little quiet talk, they tell you about bleeding out of your eyes and your ears and may cause paralysis and death and everything else. But regardless, people are going to talk to their provider about that. They piqued their interest. They pointed to a tool. That's advertising. What we're doing, a way to think about what we're doing, is we're advertising God's Super PAC to the people that we know, love, and trust. We are making a personal recommendation. If you were to watch a movie trailer on TV and you get down and you go, that was pretty interesting, I might be interested in watching that, that would carry some level of weight. If your best friend comes up to you and offers the exact same thing and says, hey, this movie happened, and I would highly recommend that you go watch it. It sounds like it's going to be amazing. That's going to carry a lot more weight when it's your personal person, a friend, somebody that you're close with, that you have a connection with. That's going to carry a lot more weight for you to go take that action. That is what we're tapping into our personal network. And that carries a lot of weight when we make a personal recommendation. And if you're here and you're a warrior, then you have seen this, it makes sense to you, and you're in. Give the person that you know the opportunity to make the same decision. You don't care if they do it or not. Of course, you want them to join, but if they don't, you're not going to lose your. If you recommend a good movie and they don't go watch the movie, you're not going to be like, oh my God, I'm never watching TV again. No, they didn't choose to do it. They didn't like it. They didn't like cheesecake, right? If you offer them cheesecake, they don't like cheesecake. Okay, no big deal. Treat this the same way. Go out, get a list of people, start a conversation, pique their interest about God's Super PAC. Point to the tool. What's the tool? The tool is that 24-minute video that I was talking about. Get your people to take a look about this. The way you pique their interest is you tell them your story. Melissa gave you her story at the beginning and talked about what really appealed to her when she was back with Brad on a retreat trip before. And she told her story. I told a little bit about my story and what got my interest in this thing. You have your story on what got your interest. So use that to pique their interest and then point to the tool where you're not there spending 24 minutes explaining the details. And chances are you might not know enough about this to give them those details. You don't need to be the expert. What you need to do is point to the expert, point to the tool that has all of the proof and all the information that they might need. There's two things that people need before they do anything. They need trust and they need proof. You have the inherent trust because you know these people. It's your list. It's your network. It's your personal network. So all the time spent, that's why they're going to listen to you when you recommend a movie or a good restaurant or a good plumber or a good roofer or a good lawyer or whatever it may be. That comes with a lot of weight because they have trust with you. The proof is not your job. You don't need to explain all the details of it. And in fact, they're going to look at you and say, you probably don't know everything there is to know about a super PAC, do you? You probably don't. You might not understand the full compensation of what this does or all the details. It's not, you don't need to know all those things. You have a whole team behind you to be able to do that. That folds into the tool. The tool is the proof. The first three steps are the trust. And then in the very final thing that you need to do, because if you don't do this, then nothing happens for growing our network and reaching our spiritual mission of putting 210 million people together. You ask for the donation. You have to ask for the final thing. You ask for the close. You go in and you say, look, you've taken a look at this thing. I'd love to have you on board. We're talking $9.95. I need you to forego one trip to Starbucks this month. You cannot go to Starbucks for less than $10, right? So instead of worrying about going to Starbucks, I'd love for you to be a part of our network. Look at what we're doing, look at the impact we're making, and look at the network that we're building, all for God's kingdom. And that's going to carry a lot of weight. So those are the mechanics of what you need to do and how you go about doing it. So now I want to talk about, well, if it's that easy, then why isn't everybody killing this thing right out of the gate? Because of this little thing between your ears called your head, your mind, and your mindset. What does your mindset look like? So I want to talk about that for a little bit because everybody sees this. Nobody says no to what we do here. They say no to what they think they're going to have to do here. They say no to negative self-talk. Oh, I don't know anybody, or no one's going to like this, or they're going to say no, or I'm going to get rejected, or somebody's going to say boo, or they're going to not think that this is something that they want to be a part of, and then I'm going to feel weird. All of that stuff is mindset. And all of that can simply be overcome. But it doesn't happen on its own. You got to think about that. You got to be aware of it. So the mindset of this, I'm going to use this as an example. This is El Pietro, I think is the name of it. And it is a carving that was done by Michelangelo. And that's the Virgin Mary, that's Jesus, and she is holding him in her arms after the crucifixion. And if you look at this and you understand what the man had to do to make this thing, he literally went out and he had a hammer and he had a chisel and he made that. Now, when he made that, what did he do? Did he go in there and did he put some clay together and mold it just right? And did he form it and all of that? No, what he did is he chiseled away all the excess and he allowed it to come through. Do you have the ability to go out and carve that statue? Few people in the history of mankind have the ability to do something like that. Why was this man able to do it? Was he just gifted? Yes, he was gifted. He was incredibly gifted. Everybody on this call is incredibly gifted. What happened is he got out of the way. He got his mind out of the way, and he just let it flow through him. If you will do the same with your organization and with God's Super PAC, if you will go talk to every single person that you know and get out of your own way with negative self-talk, fear of rejection, fear of what somebody might think, somebody might say something, all of the blah, 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 blah chatter that's going on in your ear. It's like a little devil on your shoulder, just bumping its gums in your ear. If you can just get rid of that guy, if you can just push that and focus in on what it is we're here to do, and that is to win for his kingdom. That is to bring people to this network. And by doing that, massive things can happen. Look at the detail of what this human being did with a hammer and a chisel to be able to do that. Like, if you just pause for a second to think, and then to do it back in the days in which he did it, it wasn't like there was technology back then, that it was a hammer and it was a chisel and a big old block of marble. There's so many analogies that can come from this, but just think of you as releasing yourself to be able to do great works like this. It'll blow your mind if you think about it. Get out of the way. Get out of your own way. Look at this slide here. This is what we're here to do. We're here for these missions. Those missions are our statue. Those missions are what we're here to do, to be able to make a difference along the way of building a massive network to be able to hit our spiritual mission. Think of being able to do that as analogous to this in this list. If you take a look at the business presentation, you're going to see this slide kick in. And this is talking about some of the monthly income potential that could occur for you as a warrior on building this network. And to give you the short version, it was you go get 12 people, each of them get 3, and allow that to continue to duplicate. Do those mechanical steps that I spoke about before. Make a list of 100. I want you to bring 12 people out of 100 people that you have on your list, out of the 2,000 that you know. That's 5% of your list, of your total list of people you know, and that's you getting 12 of them. That's 12%. Everybody else is going to do 3% of 5% of the people they know that they're going to bring to the organization. 3 people are going to say yes to doing $9.95 donation. When you look at this, that can turn into $1 million a month that's coming to you from Trinity Software, from God's Super PAC, coming into your bank account. When that happens, what does your brain do? Does it start with negative self-talk? Or does it look at it like that? That's for you to decide. I hope you see a statue when you look at that. When you see that little number get highlighted and it brings $10.6 million into God's Super PAC to be able to do the works that we're here to do, do you say, there's my statue? Or do you get in the way and you think about all that extra marble and no idea how you're going to chip away at it? Is it all that negative self-talk in there? Or are you seeing Jesus's forehead being smooth as can be? You make that determination. And to help you with making that determination, I got a little slide here. Maybe y'all have heard of this quote, but if I do recall, Matthew 19:26 says, with God, all things are possible. Is that a true statement or not for you? If it is, get out the way and go do the thing. What's the thing? Go get 12. That's what Jesus did. He started with 13. One didn't work out so well. He had 12. His little network started with those 12, and it turned into kind of a big deal. 210 million of us just in the United States alone. That's pretty good networking. Can y'all do the same? Yeah. Can those people get 3? Yeah. Can we do all of those? Yeah. All things are possible. So let's go get it done.